Welcome to the Business Your Way podcast. I'm your host, as usual, Caryn Gillen. And today we have a special guest. Jessica Freeman is here from The Ordinary Business because there's nothing more exceptional to me than people willing to be ordinary and like get the job done. It's like it's like the fundamentals. Like, can you dribble with your right hand and your left hand? Great.
Great. Welcome.
Welcome. Okay, so do you want to give us your quick, like, here's who I am and what I do
Yeah, of
statement? Okay.
course. Yeah. So I'm Jess and I run two businesses. I first have run Jess Creatives for the last 15 years. I do web design and SEO for health professionals. And then just over a year ago, I started very accidentally the Ordinary Business because I was venting on threads as one does. And um, then the ordinary business was kind of born out of this idea of like there are so many of us business owners who do really good work. We have solid clients, good income, but because we don't have like a rags to riches story, we're not making bajillions of dollars. We don't get picked for like podcasts and speaking, and we don't get chosen for summits and just all the things. It's like
Mm-hmm.
a popularity contest. And I was like, there's so many of us who are just like good business owners, but
Right.
because we're not going viral, we get overlooked and skipped. And that really resonated with people. And so now it's like built into this community and podcast. And yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. And you just launched a membership,
Yeah,
an ordinary membership.
I did. It's very ordinary. Yeah, it started. So Ordinary started as a virtual summit born from the Threads engagement, and then a podcast, and then another summit. And then I kind of laughed because backing up my first summit, I was like, ooh, at the same time, I'll launch a podcast with the summit. And then decided to do a second summit. And like a month and a half before, I was like, ooh, with the second summit, I will launch a live event off the back of the summit. And I was like, nobody let me run another summit because apparently I like to
Yeah.
do a summit with something else big. And then I did not and probably will not do a third summit because they're a lot of work.
Yeah. You'd probably have
But
to write a book if you did another summit.
I know, like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
But I just a month ago, well, yeah, I started it in July, launched the Ordinary Network membership community. So basically, the Ordinary is a membership and a podcast.
And whatever else happens the next
And
time you
whatever
decide to
else
have a
comes,
summit.
yeah, whatever else happens, who knows what else is going to come up.
But it seems like such a good example of kind of watching a business want to happen
Hmm.
versus forcing a business to happen. So tell us how you relate to, because so many people are pushing a boulder up a hill, but
Hmm.
this thing is like, oh, this thing has legs. So tell us what it feels like, what signs you see when you're like, oh, that wants to happen.
Yeah. I will say it's very interesting because Just Creatives has been around for so long. I would say it's a successful business, it's profitable, et
Yeah.
cetera, all those things. But I have never felt excitement around, like from other people around
Mm,
my offers. Obviously, I felt excited about it,
right.
but there was never, I mean, there's probably not a lot of service providers who are like, woohoo, I'm like launching this new service package. Like, let's all get excited. Like,
Yeah.
yes, potential clients might finally be like, oh, that's great. I really want to hire Jess for that. But there's not like this excitement. And so for me, it's been really like a weird experience to have people like
Yeah.
excited about what I'm doing. Um, and I've said that in a lot of different conversations, and people are always like, oh, interesting. Um, but it's really been paying attention to what people respond to. Like, so for example, when I launched the summit, when I was like, hey, Threads, I'm going to do this summit for ordinary business. We're going to call it the Ordinary Business Summit. I had 91 people apply to be a speaker. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, that is, to me, that's a signal. Like, that's a data
Mhm.
point.
Yeah.
I'm a creative, but I also love data. And so paying attention to what people are signing up for and
Hmm.
responding to. That first summit, I made roughly $6,000. And I would say 90% of that was actually from sponsors.
Mm.
And
So
the
people
spon
wanted to be a part of this.
yeah, and the
Hmm.
sponsors, with the exception of one, were all just other online business owners,
Hmm.
like friends that I've met on threads. And it was literally just what you said. They just wanted to like be a part of it. There was honestly, I'm sure all of them would kind of say there wasn't really much of an ROI.
Hmm.
Part of that, it was the first summit and, different things. But yeah, it was just that like people wanted to be a part of it.
Hmm.
And people just responding, engaging, like the launch of my network. I've also never had a successful launch before as it relates to like Just Creative. So launching and it going well is new to me, even after 15 years. And the network was a $15,000 launch and 110 members join, and 40% of them were cold. Like,
Whoa.
and I was like, This is weird." But like that's a really good data point for me. And in the onboarding, I kind of tell people like, "Hey, this is kind of how you can get plugged in, things you can do inside the ordinary." It's very like member driven. We're not doing
Hmm.
monthly trainings. We're not doing like it's very much just like come hang out.
This is so like I'm not putting the cart before the horse. You are making the
Yes.
business be the horse, and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
I will come where you're gonna pull.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And um and people are just responding to like this one particular email about getting plugged in, and they're like, I would love to do all the things. I will do an ask the expert call. I will be a mastermind pod leader. I will be a partner. I
Hmm.
just want to do all the things. Like I literally got an email that said that this week. It was like, how just sign me up for all the things.
So
So
you really
all
have some of that, like what Seth Godin talks about, like people like us do things like this.
mm-hmm.
You're getting that working for you,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is
So
cool.
um and I will
Ideas
say
we're spreading.
yes. And whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, I do a lot of like polls because I just want to like see what people want. Like I think I've created 25 or 26 different like forms just this year because I'm like, ooh, let me poll people. I just create a new form and I'm like I just created one today to see if we need to change the time of our Slack chats. Just
Hmm.
because I was like, let's see like if the timing works better for the majority of people at a different time. And one thing that a few people have mentioned is that yes, I'm the quote unquote leader, but they're like, but it feels like you're in this with us.
You're not the guru.
Yeah, and I was like,
Hmm.
100%. I'm like, I want to be in the Slack chat just as much as you. I want to be in the pods with you. Like, I'm not up here on my
Hmm.
pedestal,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
leading you. I'm like, how are we handling XYZ with clients? Like, I'm also asking questions in the group.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had another question, but I also just want to point to the fact that you're a data nerd. And the first reason that I wanted to bring you on the podcast, though there were many ordinary reasons, was to talk about your, is it State of the Online Business Review? Is that what it's called?
State of Online Business Survey. Yeah.
Okay. So I want to know what, well, just give us the like quick sentences about what it is so people know.
Yeah, so this is the third year that I've done this. It's a survey that goes out online to whoever will take it. It's for service providers all over the world. It is primarily like the US and Canada, but it's for anybody. And I saw a group of designers doing this, but it was just for designers. So all the questions
Hmm.
were like, what websites do you build on? What do you blah blah blah?
Hmm.
And I was like, ooh, I want to do this for all the service providers.
Hmm.
This was before Ordinary existed. I just did this as like just creatives. And so the first year I did it, got like 200 people. Then the second year I got 300. This year I got 475.
Nice.
Um, and yeah, it just gives us a look at what's working, what do people's businesses look like, what's their revenue look like. It's anonymous, and so it's just really, really fascinating because you feel like when you're online and you're scrolling through all these posts and
Hmm.
reels, and people are like, "Oh, I had a $50 million launch,"
Hmm.
and whatever, and then you see the real numbers in the survey, and it's like, "Oh, oh, okay." So it's really me loving data, but also just being nosy and
Yeah.
wanting to.
Well, I'm curious if there was anything you were being nosy about that you were like, oh, I was wrong about that.
Ooh, I I feel like there's probably a lot of things. I think I expected that people were making a lot more money than they are.
Our reporting.
Um, yeah. Like not to the point of like, oh well, I think everyone's a millionaire, but I was just like, wait, like I'm actually, and I don't mean this in a like snobby way, but I was like, I'm actually taking home more money than a lot of people,
Hmm.
when I actually feel like I quote unquote underperform or like that I'm ordinary and not doing as well. Um, I also thought it feels like a lot more people have like contractors or team members when so many of us are actually solo.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, there's a lot of it's so fascinating. I I love the data that we get in this survey.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's interesting. So, gross revenue in 2025, 22% said less than $20,000.
Hmm.
That's almost a quarter of the people. And
Yeah.
that get to the six-figure mark. So 18% of people were between 100 and 200K, and only 1% of people were more than 1 million. Only
Yeah.
1% of people were 750 to 1 million, and only 2% of people were 500 to 750K out of 475 people who took it.
Yeah. And I know
Yeah.
for people listening, your next question is like, okay, but like how long have these people been in business? The
Hmm.
highest segment which is 36%. They are 5 to 10 years in business.
Hmm.
So like these are not newbies. The less than 1 year is only 4% of people who responded. So
Hmm.
I was like, this is not this is not like, oh, I just happened to capture a lot of newbies. No,
Right.
we've been in this for a while.
Yeah.
And the revenue is not as high as a lot of people think it is.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to link this up in the show notes so that you can all go nerd out and look at the data yourself because it is interesting. I also think it's really normalizing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And that is some of the feedback that I get every year. There's always like, oh my gosh, thank you for doing this. But so many people tell me, like, this is so validating.
Hmm.
Like, it's
Yeah.
like a good reminder every year of, oh, wait, like over the course of a year, I maybe like got caught up a little bit. And again, thinking everyone's making more than me or
Hmm.
whatever. And it's like, oh, wait, actually, no, they're not.
Yeah. They're really not. And I didn't either. This is my 17th year in business. I didn't do business without another job. I guess I started a little bit in the beginning, making like no money, charging like $20 a coaching session back in 2010. But then I ended up in restaurants and ended up the GM of a restaurant. And then I got poached for another job. So it wasn't until like 8 years ago that I went out on my own because I could afford to do that as a sole breadwinner. But it
Hmm.
takes time. It can
It
take time.
does.
Some people like land and they have their idea and they come out on fire, but a lot of us just kind of like putz along with ourselves. Takes a while to get it figured out.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
And I think it's also just a good reminder of like people have chronic illnesses
Mm-hmm.
or they work part-time, either in the business or work part-time in addition to the business,
Yep.
or like there's different situations. One of my friends wants me to add for next year's survey to add a question about like, are you the breadwinner? Is
Hmm.
this kind of like
That would be a
fun,
really good one.
fun income? Because some people, it's not that like, oh, they're just doing this for fun, but it might be like that your partner is r-
You do
making,
it for the vacation fund. They do
yes,
it for the
yes,
bills. Yeah.
yes.
Hmm.
Um, and some of us, and that's totally fine, but it's like maybe having that little bit of context also would be
Hmm.
interesting. But I also have to be careful about how many questions I put in the survey.
Hmm. To make sure people
Uh,
actually fill it out.
yes.
I think
But
seeing the results that you get one year helps you fill it out the next year. So it's
mhm.
not surprising to me that you are kind of ballooning every year.
Yeah, yeah. It's and
Hmm.
this year I also there was like giveaways if you filled it out. So I helped
Mm.
that kind of helped entice people. But yeah, it was just really interesting. There's also been more questions about AI this year and last year. The first year we didn't have any AI questions. Um, I also, even though I'm not a systems person, I do websites, but I'm very type A and I like systems. And it is always fascinating to me how many people do not use like a CRM or task manager. Some
Hmm.
people use neither. I'm someone I use Dubsado for projects, but I don't use Asana or anything for like just miscellaneous tasks. And a lot of people are
Hmm.
like, but how do you know what to do every day? Like they always ask me that. And I'm like, I don't know. I just, my brain keeps track of it.
Hmm.
But then there's some people who don't use either. And I'm like, how do you do anything? I don't, that's
There's
like,
so many different ways to do this.
there are. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I need the people who don't use anything, I need you to come on the podcast and talk to us about how you stay organized.
Hmm.
So,
It's funny because I don't use like we have ClickUp as a team. I
mm-hmm,
have a OBM assistant and then I have myself. And so we use that and I like that it holds the repeating tasks, but I
mm-hmm.
never go look at it. I just like knowing they're there and that they're taken care of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I quote unquote use ClickUp. And by that, I mean my OBM uses ClickUp and then she reminds me every week. Like,
Yeah, to go look.
she's like, hey, email this person about the podcast.
Hmm.
Make sure you like do this person's like SEO keywords this week, like whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, my assistant slacked me this week to say, don't forget, we need a newsletter for this weekend. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I thought I was done through the end of August. I guess I'm not. I don't know. Um, I'm wondering after 3 years of seeing the results, like what sort of like forecasting
Mm.
do you have coming up for yourself? What are you noticing in terms of like, oh, is this going to be a trend or is any of that coming up?
Um, the only thing that stands out from this year is there was a lot of simplifying.
Hmm.
So something else we did new, I say we, it's me. Um,
You.
something new that I did this year in the survey, I put like a open-ended questions at the end. They weren't required, so you could just kind of add
Hmm.
in if you wanted to. And it was asking, let me scroll down. It was what was the biggest shift in your business this year? And then what's something that you're thinking about switching away from or quitting in 2026? And the biggest thing between both of those questions was just like simplifying. I'm
Hmm.
closing my group program. I'm closing that. I'm people were like, I'm hopping off of Dubsado and I'm only just going to use this. Or I'm like, there was so much simplification.
Hmm.
I don't know if I've actually seen that affect anything. Like, I was curious if I would hear more about that on social or like see that somehow. I don't know that I did or that I have yet, um, other than just occasional little one off things, but it's not like a trend that I saw. Like, it seemed so
Yeah.
prevalent in the survey, but then actually seeing that lived out, I'm like, I don't know, maybe
Well, and
because
would we see it?
I don't know. Like, I thought
Because
maybe I
like,
would see more people talking about it, maybe,
oh yeah.
but I
I mean, I
haven't.
probably wrote in something along those lines myself. And it's like I switched from one email provider to another because it was simpler and I didn't need the bells and whistles of the big bloated thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Yeah.
definitely been the theme of my year.
Yeah. I do think something that has been very obvious this year, and I think probably last year in the survey, is so many people being frustrated by and quitting Instagram.
Mm,
And I've definitely seen that.
mm-hmm,
Like it definitely feels like a big shift away from Instagram.
mm-hmm.
Um, and people just, I don't know necessarily what they're shifting to.
Right.
Like I haven't seen that necessarily. Like, yes, I know some are just leaning into threads. I'm loving threads. I'm always on there, but I don't know that that's what
I forgot it
everyone's.
existed.
You need to come join the threads party.
Okay.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I think that's another thing that it was like, oh, like so many people talking about this and then like actually seeing that play out and seeing how many people are leaving Instagram or just putting up a
Mm-hmm.
night grid and
Yeah.
leaving it.
And going probably like Substack threads,
Hmm.
writing longer form. I mean,
Yeah.
I get it. I took the socials off my phone, which is probably why I forgot threads existed.
Probably, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious if there's anything that comes up on the survey that at this point you're like, I wish this weren't true.
Mm.
I wish this were different.
I think for me, it goes back to the like take home pay
Mm,
and even just the overall revenue. Um, not I know obviously being the ordinary business, I know that not everyone cares about or needs,
hmm
$500,000. Um, or maybe they're like, I don't have capacity and time to like get there, even if I want it. But I just knowing how many people like are good at what they do, they serve their clients well, but for whatever reason are not making more money because I'm like less than $20,000 take home pay like in this climate with
hmm
inflation, like how is that doable?
Yeah.
So I really
Maybe they're
wish.
living in their parents' basement.
I hope not. I mean, I don't know
I know.
anybody who is, but just
Right, exactly.
but that is a question. Do you live in
Hmm
your parents' basement? Um, yeah, and like again, I know everyone has different situations. Maybe they're like, yeah, again, maybe they're the like vacation fund or something, but it was just like that's just something that I'm like, wait, you've been in business like 10 years and you're not making more than 20,000.
hmm
Um,
Yeah, I
so
want more for us too.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
and again, I don't know their stories. Maybe they're completely content making that amount of money
hmm
for all I know. But I also have a question in there about like, do you see yourself in business like 5 years from now? I think is the question. And most are like, yes, no. And then this year I added some different options with like, no, this isn't working for me, or no, I want to shut down. And
hmm
like some people, very few, I think it was like maybe less than five people selected some of those, like, no, this isn't working or it's not profitable. And I was like,
hmm
please email me. I'm not a business coach, but like I want to help you.
Yeah.
So sometimes like seeing those data points is kind of sad because I'm like, I
hmm
wish I could like help you. I don't even know who you are, but I wish I could help.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So that that is usually what sticks out to me. Um, and then also like on a very this is my own opinions, but there's always people who like use Wix or like I always see we ask about website platforms
hmm
and I always see people saying like I use Wix or Canva for my website and I'm like please don't. It's like,
Because you don't get SEO from that.
you don't get SEO. Like it's really hard to like on Canva you can't blog. On Wix you don't actually like have ownership of your content.
Hmm
So you can't
Oh,
to
wow.
move, you have to like copy and paste. You can't export or like just download your content.
hmm
And I feel like as business owners, a lot of us are blogging, we're spending money on like getting these pages written by someone, and to not actually be able to just like download, move this somewhere else,
Hmm.
I feel like is a real problem. So again, that's very much me and my own particular
Hmm.
things.
Yeah.
But I always am like, oh, don't do that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But that makes sense. Because as you grow, you're going to want to take your stuff with you. And that makes
Hmm.
it very hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else about the survey that I haven't asked you or pointed to yet that we probably should?
Hmm. Ooh, the one of my favorite questions this year, I don't think I've had it in past years. What is your number one metric of success right now?
Good question.
And because
Oh, yeah, I see.
again, we all have different reasons for running our
Hmm.
businesses. Some of us, for a lot of us, it's the money we need to pay our bills. But it was just really interesting seeing what people like really prioritize. Revenue was number one, which makes sense, but it was like revenue by a long shot.
Instead of
Profit
profit,
instead
which
of
I
profit.
I kind of want to take a minute and have a little master class on the difference between revenue and profit. So when
Yes,
somebody
please.
comes at you, first of all, I see a lot of people these days saying, I run a seven-figure company. And what they're saying is, over the last 10 years, I've made $1 million total. That's not a seven-figure company. That's a $100,000 a year company, right? So just buyer beware on people's success metrics that they market with. Like I could say, I mean, I've sold millions of dollars of coaching, not all in 1 year, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to talk about that. So I run a multiple six-figure practice
Yeah.
annually. So let's just talk about that. So, and revenue is I bring in, so let's say 100,000. I bring in $100,000 and then profit is the number that matters. Profit is after I pay my assistant and my designer, and I pay for the mastermind I'm in, and I pay for the business trips I went on. How much money do I have left?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the number that really changes your life. That's the
Yes.
number that matters. So I don't care if someone's making, and I don't think Jess cares either, $1 million if they're not keeping 500 of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
let's pay attention to the metrics that move the needle for families, because when families are really well supported and individuals, that's better for your community and you get to live out your values. And that's like the amazing part. But top line revenue, that doesn't mean people even pay themselves sometimes.
Nope.
Okay,
Nope.
so that's my soapbox for the day.
And I feel like going off of that, I don't think it's listed. It's not. I'm like 99% certain that because I can go into each response. Again, I cannot see
Hmm.
anything about who it is, but I can see like all their responses in one.
And you
Like,
can put them together as a human.
yes,
Cool.
like I can be like, highlight this row in the spreadsheet, see all their answers.
Cool.
Um, and I am fairly certain one of the people that marked as revenue as $1 million or more, or maybe 750 more, their take home pay was less than 20,000. And I was like, I feel
My
like
nostrils are flaring.
there's a problem there. Like,
There is a problem there.
now I don't remember, I could go look at the spreadsheet and see like how much, team they had and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But regardless, I'm like, that's not, no, no,
Yeah,
thank you.
that's just,
So,
it's just you're working way too hard to not
hmm
like, and there's no company that we would ever support to be like, hey, how about you go become a six-figure company and you pay your CEO $20,000 or you pay your top performing, um, whatever, creative 20 grand.
right. No, we
No,
would be like, what are you doing?
that's
So,
crazy. That's crazy talk. Yeah.
hmm yeah. So, profit, but then the next one was stability and then
Mm,
flexibility.
mm-hmm.
Um, I thought it was kind of interesting that like creativity and impact were the lowest metrics of success because there's so
Because we
much
talk
talk.
about, there's a lot of voice service.
Yes,
What is that saying?
like lip service
Lip service.
about oh, I want to be an impact, like make an
Uh-huh.
impact. And now, granted, I don't hear them saying like this is my number one like reason I run my business or anything, but it's like they are just constantly talking about like, oh, I want to make an impact,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, it's not your number one metric of success.
Right. That's
And
really
so,
interesting to see. I
yeah,
love how stability is it third? Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I agree. I love stability, spaciousness, flexibility. Like all these are so good. And I do find that what helps me create all those other things, creativity, impact, free time, is profit.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's when it's like the nervous system can calm down a little bit and I can be a little more creative and try things I wouldn't try. Oh, that's the question I wanted to ask you earlier.
Yeah.
This second business, The Ordinary, kind of springing out of whatever into life from your curiosity, running alongside of your SEO and web design business for healthcare people. Do you think you've been able to ride the wave because the other business existed? Like, are you behaving differently because you
Mm.
have that stability somewhere else? Or do you know?
Um, I think yes. I think I've held it very loosely in terms of like up
Yeah.
until I created the network a month ago. It's been very like, I don't, this is just kind of like, I'm not calling it a hobby. And now it's really not. But
Mm-hmm.
before that, it was like, I mean, I don't know. I could just close it.
You
Like, I
just,
could be like,
yeah.
I did the summits and that's it. And there was a little bit of time. Basically, I've been brainstorming, like, what do I want the ordinary to be for
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah, because
last,
we talked about that last November. How many
yes,
months ago was that? 9 months
yes,
ago?
9 months ago.
Yeah.
Um, and so there were points in the last 9 months where I was like, maybe this is just it. Maybe I
Yeah.
just had this little like boop, did some
Blip.
summits, did a lot, did a live event, had a podcast, and maybe I was like, maybe it's just a podcast. Maybe that's all it
Uh-huh.
is. But then I don't know if it's just the entrepreneur in me or whatever. But yes, I think going back to your question, I think having just creatives really being like the stable horse in the background,
Mm-hmm.
that being really my bread and butter, made this easier to just experiment and like, yes, it was, I'll be honest, it was frustrating when like the second summit really didn't make that much more money than the first summit. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
this is a lot of work. I could
Yeah.
have just done a website and like made the same amount of money.
Right.
And,
Yes. For some
and
reason, you kept like following the business's lead.
yes, and
Yeah.
um so yeah, I think that gave me that freedom to just kind of like wait it out and not, okay, like I gotta figure out like what I'm gonna do. Because if this was my sole business, I would have not waited to create the network for 8 months, 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously I would have needed some money before that.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting what we can do when we are taken care of, which is what I'm
Mm-hmm.
always thinking of in terms of like, what if we did offer childcare? What if we did give everyone in the world insurance and we didn't have to
Mm-hmm.
choose our jobs based on insurance? We could just go do what we want to do.
Yes.
Then where would we be?
Mm.
So you've kind of created that playground for yourself and
Yeah.
for the ordinary.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's interesting just to kind of like play and feel more open with it. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
Just Creatives feels much more like this is set in stone and this is business and this feels
Mm-hmm.
more like fun. Not that Just Creatives isn't fun, don't mishear me, but
Mm-hmm.
just a lot more freedom because it's like, well, if it doesn't
Yeah.
work out, then oh well. I still have my other business.
Yeah. Which is such a great place to get to create from.
Yeah.
I want to just thank you for doing because a lot of us have these ideas of like, oh, I've thought about a survey I could do for coaching businesses. Have I ever done it? No. But you actually had the thought, had the urge. And I think of this as like, I have this rule about like never stifle a generous urge
Mm.
as long as you have the energy for it. Um, and you did it. And it
Hmm.
is normalizing. And it does, I think, give people relief from what they have built up their industries to be versus what's actually happening out there. And I think that's really nice.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people, after the first survey, there was a bunch of people who like quoted it in
Hmm.
their own like social media content and
Yeah.
podcasts and stuff, which is really cool because people were like tagging me or whatever, and I
Hmm.
was like, this is weird.
You're
Like
like, I
people
made
that
I made intellectual property.
I was like, oh, interesting. Saw a little bit of it the second year, but then again, this year there was more like people using it. I've seen people like link to it on their sales page, like they'll use data points on their sales page or something,
Mm-hmm.
um, and just
That makes
referencing
sense.
it. I mean, I used it in my own launch, and I think it helped
Yeah.
to see the data and how it's like affecting because you can't lie about the data. Like if you know what I mean?
Right.
Like
The data's the data. That'd be
yeah.
an interesting, like sometimes I like to give homework assignments as if we're coaching the podcast listeners. And I would think one from today could be like, why don't you go to the link in the show notes for the ordinary business like data and look at it and find a data point that would support your work
Mm.
and
Mm-hmm.
update a sales page with it or go write a social media post where you point to some data that supports you selling your work. Because
Yes.
I would
Yes.
love it if somebody listening to this just went and made a little extra cash. Like that'd be fun. As
It
long as they
would.
keep some of it.
Yes. Yes. Actually, yes, please keep it.
Yeah.
And obviously like please like tag me so I can see it and
Hmm.
share it with my people because like then that'll help you get in front of more people.
Yeah. Are you
Um,
at Just Creatives on the
Yeah, you
socials?
can either at Jess Creatives or at The Ordinary Business.
Perfect.
So either of them.
Awesome.
But um, yeah, people are definitely using it in emails and blog posts and all kinds of things. So use it, use it,
Hmm.
and hope that it helps with
Yeah.
getting clients.
Yeah, that'd be so fun. Okay. Is there anything that you're curious about or wondering about or that
Mm,
you need to say to feel complete on the podcast?
what am I curious about? I'm curious about a lot of things. I think something I get curious about is um like so I like I mentioned I just did my launch. I did the usual like, hey, why didn't you buy?
Hmm.
And one of the options was like, oh, I don't have time for community. And
Hmm.
I thought like, oh, people will probably select like the money or like the price or the vibe of ordinary because I know a lot of people don't align. They're like, I'm not ordinary. Like I do want seven figures. I do want
Hmm.
to scale and whatever. That's fine. So I thought, I bet like the vibe is going to be why most people didn't join. And it was people saying they didn't have time for community, which I thought was so interesting because going back to the survey, the number
Oh.
one lead source is referrals.
Hmm.
And that has been the case all 3 years. Referrals are like number one. And
Yep.
that's the data point that I used in my
Yeah.
emails was like, how are you
True in my business.
growing? Like, how are you growing your referral network? Not to say that I can't send you 5 clients every single year over and over, but like you have to also get new people to and expand. And so it was very curious to me that people said they don't have time for community
Hmm.
because I feel like with AI and social, there's been a lot of people saying like offline is where it's at. Offline is healing me, like connecting with humans again is what's helping. And not even just like business, but just personally, people are like
Hmm.
the humans. And then to see,
And you're like, I built this thing for people like us who
mm-hmm,
get their business from community and people they know, and you don't have time for the thing that's working.
yeah,
But this is what I see in myself and in my clients is we figure out what works and then we go get distracted by a bunch of online business tactics
mm,
that don't generate what referrals do, what community does.
mm-hmm, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just, and personally, like this is a win. I already got a referral and a client, like brand new client from Ordinary. And I was
That's
like, oh,
amazing.
well, that was fun.
You're like, oh, the ROI on that second summit is actually coming into play here.
I was like, okay, this is cool. This is cool.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
because
great.
very few in there are like in the health space or work with people in the health
Ah,
space. And
great.
I'm not exclusive to the health space, but like it is primarily what I work with. And
Yeah.
so for me, I have not seen this. Like I had someone talking to me about the network and being like, you could really build this up, and this could be just like a referral funnel for you, and like then you just could like stop being on social and whatever. And I was like, it feels very, I mean, yes, but also kind of feels like slimy to think about it
Feels
like
very
that.
transactional when it seems like you're being very relational
Yes, yes.
instead. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I I've mentioned I'm having an in-person event soon, and I just emailed, there's only 30 people coming, so it was capped. It's very small. So I individually emailed every single person like, "Hey, just making sure you have all the details. Here's like 2 to 3 people that I think you should connect with." And like two
So
people
good.
were like, that was really kind. That was
That
really
was
nice
really
of you."
kind.
And I was like, well, like I kind of know most of you. And so
Mm-hmm.
like it feels like having a dinner party with different friends from all facets of life, and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, all my friends in one place."
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, I'm like, sure, referrals or new people would be great to come from the network, but that's not at all why I created it.
Mm-hmm.
So like to see that already, I was like, "Oh, that's fun." Don't know that it'll ever happen again, but
But it might.
we'll see. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It might as well happen again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Thank you for sharing all this with us.
yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Of
I was
course.
super curious about it and it's evolved since I spoke to you about it last. So that's fun too.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
has. I'm curious, did you use any of the data points like in your emails? Because I know you were super curious about it because
Mm-hmm.
you were like, let's talk about it on the podcast. So
No, I got you booked for a podcast and then I never thought about it again. But now that I'm reading it, I'm like, there's so much I could use.
yeah.
Yeah. Like you can go pick and choose. Like
Mm-hmm.
I also think, and I have a small group I run for coaches, like just looking at like where people are spending their money in 2026 and what programs people are closing. Like, oh, wow, it looks like memberships are on the downturn
Mm-hmm.
or whatever the data might say. So I
Yeah,
think it's as a business coach who works with people with online businesses, I think it's important to be educated, even though I hadn't read it until today.
it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
So it'll be
Yep.
coming up again soon. So
Send it to me so I can send it to my people.
and if you're listening, you can just follow either of us and make sure you get the link in a few months. I usually send it out in like January, February, um, which I named like some people have been like, you named it incorrectly because I do it like the state of online business, like 2026. And they're like, but all your questions are about 2025
Mm-hmm.
or like the year, the year prior. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I don't know. I don't want to do a survey around Christmas. So I'm like, I'm
No.
not going to do it.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, whatever. That's the name
I
of it.
think you get to
So
do what you want to do.
I do. I
Yeah.
do.
That's the
So
fun part.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. And we'll put all the links in the show notes so people can find you and find the survey and take the survey next year and check out the new community.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. I want to thank Jess again for being here and for inspiring. I don't know. I guess it's just so fun to see a business that wants to happen because there are businesses that want to happen, and then there are businesses that kind of feel like, why am I pushing the boulder up the hill? And a lot of times when I'm working with coaches and that boulder up the hill feeling is happening, I'm looking for what is energetically off with the business that's not working for you as a person so we can make it right. So I'm not saying go quit your business if it feels like a boulder going up a hill, but I am saying investigate what's going on that the business doesn't want to happen. What's in there? And for a lot of coaches, it's like, oh, the niche is kind of off. I niched down too soon because I thought I had to, and I feel really uncomfortable there, and I'm subconsciously kind of sabotaging everything. Um, I also just think it's fun to watch where energy wants to go. And so pay attention to that this week and notice like if I were completely um if I had everything I needed, if I was sufficient and I could do what I wanted to do in business and in life, like what would be the thing I would create? What would I want to sell? How would I want to show up? And just play with what's there. What wants to happen? I think she's such a good example of that and really dancing with that, which requires a lot of trust. So good on you, Jess. And again, we'll put that survey results into the show notes. It's an interesting read. Um, I love looking at it every year. All right, thanks for being here. If you haven't done so, go ahead and leave a review on the podcast. And if you're feeling like things are a little sticky for you right now and you just need a little bit of Coach Caryn in your life, check out the checkpoint session. It's a one-off session with me where we do a 90-minute call and you have a week of follow-up on Voxer. It can be a really good thing just to shake things loose. All right, talk to you later.